Alright guys, I got another build here for you, both for Skyrim and for Oblivion, depending on which game you're playing. All my playlists, by the way, can be done that way. So we're called a tradesman, and our specialty is speechcraft. So let me break this down and then we'll get into it, okay? Um, we're a tradesman. So personality, intelligence, willpower, that kind of stuff, um, alchemy, alteration, um, illusion, marksman, um, speechcraft, lockpicking, one-handed, um, expensive clothes, loot and steal is how we get the goods to sell, travel around looting and stealing goods to sell to others as you wander around the world. Um, so we have Radiant Raven, where you can buy the clothes here, and you can actually get them for free, which I already did. We'll talk about that here in a second. No guilds and no followers is basically what we're doing here. So this is a magic stealth build, okay? Is basically what we're doing here. So how does all this break down? Well, let's take a look at it, okay? All right, so first off, I should have stayed here. Our race, I'm being a Breton for this one. You could do other classes in that too, like a dark elf and that sort of thing too as well, right? Again, we're a magic stealth build, okay? So, let's get into how this breaks down then, okay? So, our items, our weapons are a longbow and a dagger, and that's it. Because for the most part, what we're doing is we're going around the world and we're just traversing the place and we're looting and stealing and we're selling it off as goods. Like, it's like we're a wandering tradesman, where someone like, who's like really sneaky and conniving and that sort of thing. We go around and we sell our wares to other people, for a far more better price, kind of thing, right? Okay. If you played Oblivion and you know that one guy there that runs that shady trading place, we're kind of like that guy. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. So we wear fine clothes in that, right? Okay. This is the clothes I got equipped right now. Fine boots and fine clothes. I'll show you what I look like right now. We put on a silver ring. This is just stuff I found out in the wild. Okay. And we'll run through everything here. We're into alchemy, so don't worry about that. We'll talk about that. We make our own food, obviously. Everybody's into that, you know what I mean? We don't do destruction, so I need to sell that off. And we're not into blacksmithing. So, let me just see here. Let me see what we got here. We got oak flesh. We don't do this. We don't do this. And we don't do this. Our power is dragon skin, so we absorb 50% magicka for a minute. And this is just my active stuff, so yeah, nothing to worry about there. Oh yeah, right, I took the thief stone. So let's walk you through the map. That's usually where I start, okay? So what you're going to do is, you see I'm all the way up at Solitude. Because we're a wandering tradesman, right, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to literally travel by foot or by carriage. You cannot fast travel doing this build, okay? It goes against the whole idea of role-playing it in the first place, because the whole point of us is to wander around and loot everything that we can find, okay? So we go through here, we go through Haugen, blah, blah, blah. We don't get into the fights or anything like that. This time around, I decided to take the right path instead of the left. It was quicker to get through and that sort of thing, right? And then we went down here, and I do believe I took the thief stone. Let me just see, what stone did I take? The thief stone. Okay, so we took the thief stone here. Okay, all right, just to make sure. All right, and then we went along the riverbank to avoid any fighting. And we just, shot the rapids all the way down, picking up the fish till we got here. Then we talked to the person there. We got the wood axe there and that sort of thing. got some goods, you know. This time around we went with Lod, the person who runs the log mill. Instead of the blacksmith, we went the other way, okay? So instead of going the Imperial route, we went with the stone cloaks this time around, alright? Okay, so then what we did is we ran all the way up to Whiterun so that we could grab a carriage, because you see it's not really highlighted here. We could grab a carriage, right? And then we took the carriage up to Solitude, you know. Now the whole reason why I'm here is to get my clothes, okay? Alright? So that's basically how that plays out. We're basically a support class, alright? So let's get into what we do and what we don't do, right? Remember, we're a traveling salesman is what we are. We're like 11 car salesmen, right? We loot everything that we can find, and so that's why we're good, like, you know, with lock picking and that kind of stuff, right? So let's go through our skills, okay, and what it does, right? Alteration, we're only doing this so that we have some kind of armor because we wear clothes. So we're doing this to get our armor right here, our magical armor, and that's it, okay? We could also do magic resistance too if we want to, alright? But we're mainly here for the armor, alright, for that, okay? And then we can level that up, like, you know, for the armor, okay? No, 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 no. Yeah, we do daggers, but we only do here and that's it. We don't go any further because we're not a fighter. Okay, we sell stuff. We use the dagger in self-defense, okay, along with a bow. So we're using a dagger in self-defense along with a bow, okay, but we're not a warrior. Same thing with the bow. We're just going here and that's it. You know, we're not going anywhere else with it because we're just, you know, we're just a traveling salesman, okay? That's what we are, okay? No armor. Sneaking we do, okay? But we're not a warrior, so we're not into backstabbing or anything like that, but we can go this way, you know, where we become silent and that sort of thing. I'm not too sure about all this stuff, you know what I mean? Because, again, we're a travel salesman. We're not like a sneaky thief or anything like that, you know? So I would say, like, you know, just in stealth and that's it, okay? So you can put points here, but nowhere else because we're not that kind of a person. We're more into being sneaky so that we can steal items and that, so that we can sell them to other people and that sort of thing, okay? Alright? Okay. We do lock picking, but really there's no point in putting any points into this. And we're not a thief, so we're not heavy into lock picking, only to get into places and to get into things like chests and that, so that we can get, you know, better gear and that sort of thing, alright? Pickpocket. No, we don't do pickpocket, okay? We don't do this at all, right, okay? Speechcraft we do. I got a little boost right now because I gave one of the people money there, one of the people there, right? So we do this, and we can do all of it actually, like allure, merchant, all that, persuasion, except we're not into intimidation, but we are persuasive because our whole thing's about personality, right? And we're really good with money, so we can do all of this all the way up here. The only thing we don't do in this tree is intimidation, okay? All right. We do alchemy, and we do it along the beneficial side, so physician, beneficiary, up to experimenter, and then we end right there. You know, we're not into all of this other stuff, okay? So we're just into experimenting. We're not into the poisons because we're not an assassin, so we're just in it to make, you know, better potions to heal ourselves, and you can go all the way up to experimenter, and that's it for that. Illusion we're into so that we can calm people down and that sort of thing, so that the people around us chill out, okay? So like if anyone gets worked up or whatever, our personality is so awesome that, you know, people around us are just calm, you know? So that's why we have this, right? So we're into, like, you know, the calm like spells when it comes to this, you know? Okay, all right? And we don't do this, we don't do this. We don't do this. Alteration, we do this because we're into things that, spells that help us to unlock locks easier. so that we can get into stuff easier. Like we can break into someone's place easier. We can, do locks like, like spell locks, you know what I mean? So that we can break into chests easier and stuff like that, right? So we're doing lock picking along with like, the spell in this, like pick very easy, medium, hard, very hard, that kind of stuff, right? That's what we're in it for, is for the lock picking abilities, okay? All right. And again, like we can do this for the magical armor, and we can also do this for magic resistance, okay? All right. And no, no, and no, and we already covered this. So that's it. This is our defense right here, is archery and dagger only, okay? So let's take a look at what our character looks like. Right now we have this going on, and you see our daggers off to the side there, we got a dagger, and we got a ring on one of our hands here. Right there, we got a silver ring. And what I want to do later on is I want to equip the person with a crown, a really nice, good-looking crown, right? So that we look like really Davinish and really debonair. So that we look like we're a really good business person. We're really good at business. We're really good at doing deals and at cutting deals. We're very persuasive. That's what it is. We're very, very persuasive, right? And that's what we want to reflect in our skill sets, right? And that's why we want all these different types of skills, is because we do stuff that is like that, okay? Now, in terms of, followers and that, we don't join any guilds. We don't have any followers or anything like that because we're not that kind of person. We wander around the world quite literally, like like all over the place around here, selling our wares as we find them, and we either find them by going into people's places, breaking in and selling the stuff that way, or we can find it by going through, let's say, Bleak Falls Barrows, right? And we go in and we loot the place, kind of thing, right? So we're into looting and stealing, right? And we're a loner. We walk around and wander around the roads looking for people to sell our wares to. Hey, you want to buy my stuff? That sort of thing. We go into the cities and small towns and that sort of thing. So that's what we've done here, and that's why we're going with the thieving. Now, you could technically, if you want to, join the Thieves Guild, to get, lock picking and stuff like that, like to get lock picks or whatever, but you can buy those anywhere, right? There's no real reason to join a Thieves Guild. There's no real reason to join any guild, because what we're all about is making money. That's what we're about. We're about, buying stuff, and not even buying stuff, but looting and that. So we'll go around with a pickaxe and we'll mine ore and that kind of stuff. We don't mind getting our hands dirty when it really becomes necessary. So that's why we have a dagger. We're not a warrior, so we don't have a sword. Okay, we're not a warrior class. We are a magic / stealth class. Okay, so we're the kind of person that kind of sneaks around to get out of trouble, kind of thing, right? And we use magic to benefit us, to charm people, calm people down, have people come to us. So you could also use an Imperial for this because they have the voice of the Emperor, which also chills out people. I decided to go with a Breton just to do something different this time, because I usually tend to use Imperials most of the time with most of my builds. But you can monkey around with it, look at the pros and cons of different things, and go with what you think would work here. You could also use a Dark Elf if you wanted to, but I would want to go with a race that's relatively attractive in this, and that's more charming to people, right? You can do male or female, whatever you want to do, right? But that's essentially how it breaks down, guys. You can get involved in just about anything, except we're not an assassin. We're not this. We're not that. We're not a fighter. We're not, we're just out there to sell our wares. So if you want to play any of the missions out and that sort of thing, like the main quest and that, you could do the main quest, but you're a subclass, so you wouldn't be doing things like like a front of the line warrior. I mean, you would act in self-defense. You could use your bow, you could use your your dagger, right? But you're not a warrior, right? So we're not going to be using shields and things like that. We use clothing only. We don't use armor, right? And the clothing that we wear is, clothing that makes us look rich. And same thing with jewelry and with a crown, because we're a woman, right? If we're a guy, then we'd rock a different set of clothes and that sort of thing. But we're here to make it look like we're rich and successful, so that people want to do business with us, right? People want to trade with us, they want to barter with us, they want to sell, you know what I mean? So this is how we make our reputation. So we wander around the world and we become known as the world's best tradesman, kind of idea, right? And that's what the goal is here. So you can do whatever you want in terms of quests if you really want to, right? But I would stick with stuff that's lore friendly with the character. Like, you can do the main quest, and go all the way through the whole main quest. And that's the other thing too. We don't use shouts or anything like that. We don't have people to travel with us or anything like that. And again, because people don't like the idea of me playing on legendary, play it on whatever difficulty you want to play it on. Right now, I think I got it set to master. Let me just double check that. I think I have it on master if I'm not mistaken, because I'm monkeying around with it. Yeah, see, we got it on master right now, which makes the fighting, interesting, right, for our character, right? Okay. So that's the whole thing. And that's only like, one down from legendary. And the starting one is adept, right? So then you got expert and then you got master, And that was the highest you could go until the legendary edition came out. But we're playing on master here, as you can tell, okay? And it works perfectly fine. So that's what I'm doing there, with this character here, so you can play it however you want to. When we look at the different quests here, we got miscellaneous, we can do like whatever you want to do, really, right? But the thing is like in the end, we're not into the Assassin's Guild, so we're not going to do this, we're not into the Thieves Guild and stuff like that. We're into selling our wares and that, right? So we could go traveling to the Thieves Guild and help out that guy over here that's sitting there. We could help out that woman find her sword. There's a few things in the Thieves Guild that we could do. If you guys want to see me roleplay this, let me know, and I can roleplay it, right? I did the Christian build there too. If you guys want to see that being roleplayed, let me know. Now, this can also be used with Oblivion, and if you're going to go with Oblivion, then you're going to be getting into like things like intelligence, willpower, personality, magic, and stealth. You're going to take the dark elf or a Breton or an imperial, and you're going to do things like I've already mentioned here, like alchemy, alteration, illusion, marksman, mysticism, if you want to, for trapping souls. That's another thing. If you want to go dark side with this, you could always trap souls, right? And then that can recharge items, and then you could make money that way too. But I didn't. I decided to stay away from that. You know what I mean? Speechcraft is for us doing that stuff. Lock picking and one-handed, is what we do, and we use expensive clothes because it shows that we have good taste in that. We loot and steal is how we get our goods to sell. So we go around like, graveyards and things like that, like everything diabolical, and we just loot everywhere. Like, we find a dead body, we'll loot it. We find a place to break into, we'll loot it, and that sort of thing, right? So you might want to unlock the Thieves Guild just to be able to go in there to sell your wares, so you have someone as a fence, kind of thing, right? Okay. But like I said, when we go up the speech skill tree, we're going to max it out, and we're going to be able to sell our wares that way. So technically, we don't even need to go through the Thieves Guild because let's just look at Speechcraft here. Where is it? Right here, right? When we go all the way up here, like where is it? I think it's called Fence. Okay. Can barter stolen goods with any merchant you have invested in. So right there, boom, we get to, right? And then we can go all the way up to 100 in this, and right here everybody starts with 1,000 gold. So we're really, really good at trading. The only thing we don't do here is intimidation. I already broke down the skill tree, but I'm just trying to show you. See, we're great at persuasion, so we're going to be doing this. We're very persuasive, you know. We're good at bribing our way and doing a lure and that, and, you know, and making really good deals with the opposite sex and stuff like that, you know. So we're really good at seduction and charming and alluring and that. And that's what our spells are going to reflect, right? We're going to calm people, we're going to charm them. We're, you know, this is why we're doing things like illusion and that, right? Because we can charm them, we can persuade them, we can pacify them. You know, we can do all these things on a seductive slash charming side, you know, depending if you're role playing it as a woman or as a man, you know. And that's how basically all this plays out, you know. And surprisingly, hey, we're not using restoration this time around. Hey, isn't that interesting? We're not using restoration, right? So that's the whole thing, and that's how all this plays out. The reason we got this again is for so that we can get our armor up there with magical armor and that, but also too you have spells in there that you can use, like for example, we have like open locks, right? So this is where we get our open locks from, is the alteration. So what you might want to do is you might want to go up to the college in Winterhold, right? And you're just going to join for the sake of getting into the college so that you can get the spells that they have that you can only buy from them, right? And then you can do that too, because remember, this is a magic stealth build, you know, so we're heavy into the magic in a defensive way, as well as, like, you know, we have a dagger and a bow and arrow to defend ourselves with too, right? So that if things are far away, we can defend ourselves, and if it's close up, we can defend ourselves, right? And that's basically what we're doing in a nutshell. And as you can see, this is like how we look right now. We have a dagger right there that shows, right, you know, oops, I kind of clipped the thing there. We have some really good boots there. I wish I could do this character justice by zooming in better. And if you don't like the way you look, remember, you can always go in and go to that place there and have your face done. So, like, you know, in Riften, right? There's a person there that does your face, and that's it. There's our dagger right there. There's the ring, you know, right? And then we can get a necklace to put around us, and we can get a really nice crown to put on our head, right? Okay, and that sort of thing. Now you can buy one if you want to, like they got one here in Radiant Raven. I'll show you what they have here, right? But it's expensive, but you can buy it, right? And if you got the gold, and I'll show you what you can do. Is like you can buy ones that are even enchanted if you want to.
Why,
right?
hello. We provide clothes. Let's see if we can't find an outfit that suits you.
Okay, so like, let me just see here. I'll show you what I mean here. Okay, so like, you know, we got all sorts of different boots and that we could wear. So we already got these really fine ones. So like you see, like, you know, we want a crown that looks really good. Like that looks really good. You know what I mean? Right? That doesn't look, that looks like brassy though, so I don't really kind of like that. You know, we kind of like want the gold, you know, with really good gems in it, right? Okay. But you notice here we got things like alchemy, bows, conjuration, magica, you know, restoration kind of thing, right? We're not into doing our own enchantments, but we can buy stuff with enchantments if we want to, right? Okay. We are, see, look at all this scummy clothes. We're not into this, right? We're into, there's like, you know, one right there, like, you know, but that's a bronze one. I want a gold one, you know. We can wear an amulet or something around us. See, we got fine boots, and that's what we're rocking right now is the fine boots. So we're wearing really, really nice clothes, right? Okay, all right. There's the fine clothes. We got that, and we got that for free because we promised to do her a job here, right? So we're into wearing stuff like this, right? And this is the one I think that we're wearing right now. Okay, and there's even this one right here too, you know, which looks really, really good too. Could always switch to that if we want to. You got a fine hat if you want to do that, but I prefer going with a crown or something like that. Like I want my character to look really nice and rich, you know what I mean? Gold and emerald, see, that's what we're looking for, stuff like that, right? And that's like 1400 right there, you know. But we can find stuff in the wild as we go along, right? Okay. So this is just to show you the different clothes here, because Radiant Raiment, that's why I came here, was to get my clothes, right? Just to let you know, that's how I got it. As the same thing with this too, like, see, look, we got lock picking here, right? frost resistance, so lockpicking, that would help out our character right there. We could buy this if we wanted to, and we could have like a necklace around us, right? That sort of thing. But we're just not into, making stuff ourselves, right? Yeah, we're into wearing the fine clothes. There's the one that we got there, Radiant Raiment Fine Clothes. That's the one that we're wearing right there, right? So we got the best of them. And you see all these, like, it's all rags and stuff like that, right? There's a pretty good ring, kind of thing, but it's silver. So I prefer the gold color ones with a jewel in them, like that. That looks pretty cool. So we want really good jewelry. We want really good clothes. And we want really good head pieces, so that we look we look like that we're a successful business person, right? And that's what we're doing here, okay? All right, so hopefully this helps you guys out with
Thank
the
you
build.
for your patronage.
And I'm just going to step out of here and I'm just here to show you guys what we're doing and how it's working out and why. So,
what do you need?
Hopefully that works for you guys. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any question about the build or anything like that, just hit me up in the comment section down below, okay? And you can basically go wherever you want to and travel wherever you want to in that, because that's what we do, is we wander around and that sort of thing, right? And we make deals with people and the whole bit. So, yeah, I think, I think I've covered everything. So, I guess what I'll do is I'll do some gameplay with it, and show you guys some of it, and then we can go from there. Like I said, we're not really into the Thieves Guild, Assassins Guild, or anything like that. We're a traveling merchant, is what we are, okay? Thanks a lot for watching, guys. God bless you. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.